Before you spend an hour scrolling Janitor AI's catalog, there's one question worth asking yourself first. Do you want to talk to a character or do you want to play a game? If the answer is a character, Janitor AI is probably the most useful tool that exists for that. If the answer is a game, a world with stakes, consequences that stacks, choices that matter past the current conversation, it's going to feel hollow within a few sessions no matter how good the card is. That distinction is basically the whole review, and let's get into it. Janitor AI is a character sharing platform. Users write character cards, personality, voice, backstory, scenario, example dialogue, and publish them. You find one, launch a session, you talk to that character, and that's the loop. The catalog is enormous, hundreds of thousands of characters, every genre, every archetype, every content rating, and that sheer volume is the platform's biggest advantage. No curated platform can match it. What you're not walking into is a game engine. No world state, no persistent memory past the current context window, no mechanics, no consequence system. It's a place to have a conversation with a character. That's limiting, but it's also a specific thing a lot of people genuinely want. And this is where new users either find their footing or bounce off. Right? Cards surface by popularity and recency, and popular doesn't reliable mean good, it often just means early. And the card that racked up downloads back in 2024 stays visible whether or not the writing holds up today. The actual predictors of a good session aren't the rating or the download count, they are the specificity of the personality field, the quality of the example dialogue, and whether the scenario gives the model something concrete to work with instead of just vibes. Loosely written cards produce characters who drift to match whatever tone you bring. Feels responsive at first, feels like no one's home by hour 2. Tightly written cards hold their shape. Takes a few bad sessions to develop the eye for this, but it's worth it once you have it. Janitor AI runs its own in-house model for anyone who doesn't want API key setup. Fine for casual browsing, but if you've spent enough time with the Frontier model, the gap shows up fast. Shorter responses, weaker character adherence over a long session, etc. The bring your own model option, routing sessions through your own Claude or OpenAI key, changes this substantially. The same card that feels flat on the in-house model can feel genuinely alive within a Frontier model doing the writing. If you've already got a Cloud or ChatGPT subscription, the marginal token cost per session is usually just a few cents, which tends to beat paying for a second subscription elsewhere. Setup takes about 10 minutes and isn't a real technical issue for most people. One-on-one character conversation is where this platform shines. So, a companion, a rival, a mentor, someone from a piece of fiction you care about. No mechanics isn't a weakness here, and it's an absence of friction. Group scenes work up to a point, but no longer multi-character threads start to blur, voices flatten, the model's tracking multiple personas at once, and it shows that after a while, so solo sessions do hold up better. What doesn't work at all, anything needing the platform to remember a past session, track a resource, or make your choices carry a real weight over time, and the illusion falls. There's no mechanism for any of that. If you've been using engineered systems built around persistent states, the lack of scaffolding here is going to be jarring. So, the most common real comparison is against character AI. Janitor AI is where people migrate once character AI starts to filter or memory limit, and you start to get graded. So, the other question that comes up a lot is why use this instead of just building your own character in a Claude project? And the honest answer, most people won't write as good a card as the best creators here have. So, after hundreds of hours refining one character, the creators have the blueprint down, and you may not. But a cloud project gives you persistent memory and tighter instructions adherence that Janitor AI simply can't replicate. So it really comes down to whether the library is solving your problem or you've got a specific vision that needs a blank canvas. Janitor AI is genuinely useful, especially scoped and widely misunderstood. People show up expecting a game by seeing those dungeon cards and whatnot, and they find the conversation platform instead. And that it doesn't mean it's bad, it means it's a tool with a different job than you were expecting. So, if you want to talk to characters rather than run campaigns, you already have a Frontier model subscription and you're willing to route through it, and you're willing to spend a session or two learning to read a card, this is the best character library out there. If you want a world that remembers you or stakes that persist past the current window, this is the wrong tool for that, and no amount of good cards changes that. All in all, I am giving Janitor AI rating 4 out of 5. For short character based role playing games, this is really good. For sandboxes and bigger campaigns, it falls short, but for its purpose, it's pretty solid. If you want a full written review, the link is below. It goes deeper on how to actually read a card before you launch it, plus the full breakdown against Silly Tavern, Chubb AI, and Character AI. If you're deciding between platforms, that's the one to read next. And thank you for watching, I'll see you next time.